a bad facility, obviously ill-equipped, unstaffed. After about a year, $250,000, this was the clinic in Medkhal. Sheikh Rabish, the man with the white beard, was the leader. When we went out to inaugurate that building, he made a little speech. He said, we understand what America wants from us. This is a terrorist-free zone. We will, they're not welcome. We will oppose their presence. We have much more to gain in cooperation with the United States, in cooperation with the Yemeni government, than we ever have to gain in cooperating with Al-Qaeda. Okay, so far a good news story. How does it last? Well, we came back a year afterwards. We talked with the staff who'd been working in the premises for a year. They reported that they had treated 50 patients, an average of 50 patients every day, that patients were paying fee for service. They were actually making income, and they were on their own expanding the clinic by adding a pharmacy to it. Forward another couple of years, I was long gone by this time, but one of our colleagues, Ahmed Atig, went back and reported to me the clinic was still functioning. Sheikh Rabish was there. He was volunteering his daughter for a midwife program. So this, Alan, is another example of a indigenous antibody to the Al-Qaeda virus. And it not only really works for Medkhal, because with the tribal telegraph, news of this spreads in a much broader area. And people come from a broader area, but more importantly, the idea is implanted in many, many minds. So that after something like this, the embassy development people were getting many, many inquiries, many requests, a lot of local initiative for them to come and look at the situation in this village or that village and undertake similar projects. So this is what I mean by filling that space, creating the local antibodies.
Thank you. I'm Bob Sharp from the Near East South Asia Centre. Congratulations on your book, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoyed your talk at National War College a few weeks ago. Can you talk a bit about, or express a view with respect to this, how much the US does to defeat Al-Qaeda in Yemen directly, and how much the Yemeni do, and this issue about funding and whether that funding is being misused in support of propping up the regime?
I can only talk about my time there from 01 to 04. We took the lead initially in eliminating Abu Ali al-Harithi. It was done with the first Predator operation, and it was done in cooperation with the Yemenis. They knew what we were doing, and they approved of what we were doing. Unfortunately, having succeeded in an almost textbook case, we proceeded to publicize our role, and that had a very counterproductive effect. The Yemeni government was embarrassed because they had put out a different story. They had wanted this to seem an accident, and therefore the cooperation had to alter in significant ways. It did not, in that case, alter negatively, in that what the Yemenis ended up doing is taking the responsibility onto themselves. And therefore, in the numerous other cases I cite in the book, the Yemenis pulled the triggers, the Yemenis broke down the doors. That doesn't mean that we stopped playing a role, because in all of these situations, of course, intelligence is critical, and we continue to provide intelligence to the Yemenis for their operations. We also continued, frankly, to provide strong motivation. And there's an account in the book when a Al-Qaeda operative is in Sana'a. We know that Bob Mueller is visiting, head of the FBI, and so we have a chance to meet with Ali Abdullah Saleh. And in the course of the meeting, I have an opportunity to say to the president, and by the way, Mr. President, you have in your capital one of the most important Al-Qaeda operatives still functioning. It was a rather tense minute because the staff, who either had not told the president or properly prepared the president, had to nod their heads and agree that, yes, this was the case. And then about a week after that, this individual was wrapped up by the Yemenis. So with Ali Abdullah Saleh, it was always a case of not only helping with capability, but helping with will, the will to act. And that's what you pay diplomats for, frankly.
My name is Dan Green. I'm with the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. I was wondering if you could comment a little bit on why Al-Qaeda has resurged in Yemen, not just as you had mentioned previously, because Saleh's forces have sort of withdrawn more to regime protection, but more sort of how they've reorganized. What are the strategies of the tribes in sheltering them, or at least parts of the tribes? Thank you.
Right. I go into this systematically in the afterword of the book. This is a question Mark Grossman asked me when I asked him to do the introduction. He said, okay, so if this was such a great success, why are they back stronger than ever? So I addressed that in the afterword. Both the U.S. and Yemen took its eye off the ball after 2004. I think in some ways it was just too easy. And as you know, the U.S. got obsessed with Iraq and resources flowing into Iraq. They got occupied with Saudi Arabia and the challenges in Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, the continuing challenge of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And you can chart the support for our policies in Yemen in the latter years of the Bush administration, and it just goes steadily downhill. So we took our eye off the ball. The Yemenis also took their eye off the ball. After they'd succeeded with Al-Qaeda, the Al-Houthis rose up in the north around Sada, and a very, very strong challenge there, which the Yemenis did not respond to effectively, using brute force rather than a combination of force and diplomacy. Not long after that, the Southern movement also began to gain steam, initially with peaceful protests, but then eventually with violence. So the Yemenis had a lot of distractions. The second thing was they put all these Al-Qaeda people in a jail in Sana'a, and they broke out in 2006. This was not the first time this had happened. We saw it happen in Kandahar a couple weeks ago. It seems to be an Al-Qaeda modus operandi. At some stage, presumably, we and our partners will get wise to this. But you had 26 individuals who had been together in the prison, had really had kind of a graduate program in terrorism,